Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Jacob Masters from Denison Depot. Having fun hearing all about the Polar Express, but that is not the only thing you guys do. What else is happening there?
Oh, my goodness. We have so many things. The month of October is crazy. So we actually operate multiple sites, which I'll talk about that in a second. But we also have, so on top of Polar Express, we have fall train rides. And so we have several different ones of those. So you can actually choose from a variety of different rides. So the first one is our hashtag Fall-A-Day. And what that is it's just a simple ride. We're actually traveling east instead of traveling north like we do on the North Pole, or when we do the Polar Express. So it's rare mileage, so it's not tracks that usually see a lot of action, we want to say. And what it is it's a nice, relaxing ride. There's some treats on board. We get a pumpkin cookie on board with that. And then also it is a nice, relaxing ride to look at the leaves and look at the scenery. It's beautiful out towards Bowerston is where we basically end up. So that's the Fall-A-Day ride. We also have a really fun ride.
Let me just pause you right there.
Yeah.
I'm curious about these tracks that don't see much action. Were these left over from something that a train used to use quite frequently and they just don't anymore?
No, they're still the same tracks that we use. They're still used. They're owned by the state of Ohio. However, there's not as much traffic that way. There tends to be more traffic towards the west end of these tracks and not so much on the east end. So that's why we call it rare mileage.
Rare mileage. And do they pass through a lot of beautiful trees so we get to see like lots of...
They do.
Wow.
Yep.
That sounds absolutely lovely. Okay, proceed. I didn't mean you
No
interrupt,
worries.
but I needed to know more.
No worries. So the next one is a really fun ride called the Chocolate and Cheese Sweetheart Ride.
Ooh.
Yes. So on board, we get some local cheese creators and chocolate confectioners, and we bring. So when people ride the ride, they get chocolate and cheese on board, and they also get to listen to some romantic music. And so what it's really about is, get on with your sweetheart, and it's just a fun, again, just a relaxing ride, but you get to eat chocolate and cheese with it too.
What else do you need? When is this taking place?
This is actually on the Saturdays. So the Fall-A-Days are on Saturday and Sunday, and the chocolate and cheese is the 4:30 on Saturdays.
On Saturday. And this is throughout October, or not
It's just the 12th and the 13th and the 19th and the 20th.
19th and 20th still coming up, yes. Yep. Okay. All righty. Sweetest Day. Did you do this around Sweetest Day? Is that why you did that?
That's why we did it.
You're so smart, Jacob. Okay, well, that's pretty cool.
Yep, and then if you ride first class, you actually get wine. Now, we cannot have wine on the train. However, when you get off the train, you get a wine voucher, and then you can pick up your wine inside the gift shop, and that's if you're riding first class.
Got it. Okay. All right. What else are you doing?
Well, this is another fun it's called the Little Engineers Ride. And what we're doing is, it's kind of similar to Polar, except it's not Christmas-themed. It's all about like the little engine that could, and railroad safety, and railroad slang, and railroad signals, and things like that. So we're going to be singing songs like, I've been working on the railroad. I'm sorry, I have a terrible singing voice. But, like the wheels on the train instead of wheels on the bus.
Oh,
we change
perfect.
the lyrics. And so it's, geared towards kids, and it's just a lot of fun. And, all the children who ride get an engineer's hat to wear home with them.
Oh, how fun. When does that take place?
That will be on the Saturdays at 3 o'clock. So the 12th and the 19th at 3 o'clock.
Okay. Very cool. Now, what are the prices? Are they similar to Polar Express prices?
They're actually less.
Really?
So if you want to ride first class for the Fall-A-Day rides, is $40 per person. And if you're riding that coach, it is $25 and $20 for kids. So $25 for adults and $20 for kids. And then the Little Engineers is $20 and $15.
Wow, quite a value.
Yep.
Are those also an hour and a half?
No, they're only an hour.
Hour
just
train
1 hour.
rides.
Yep.
Again, it's a very fast-going hour. You kind of think, ooh, will my kids stay, quiet and settled for an hour on a train? They're just entertained the whole entire time, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
It's just so much fun. First, before I go on with my next question, I want to know if there's other kinds of train rides you want to let us know about.
We have one more, and it is actually on Sunday the 20th, and it is at noon, and it is called our Veterans Troop Train Ride.
Ooh.
So what we are doing is we are inviting a whole bunch of veterans, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, whatever war you were in, And if you're a veteran, you get to ride for free.
Oh, how
and
nice.
Now, if you want to bring family, you do have to purchase tickets for that. However, they're $25 for adults, $20 for kids. But if you are a veteran, we don't need proof or anything. Just get on the train. And we do ask that if you do want to ride, just let us know. So we have a seat for you. But all
Right,
you
I
have to
would
do is
think you
call
would.
us, or you can actually go to DenisonDepot.eventbrite.com, and you can order your tickets actually for any of the fall rides.
Oh, how nice. Denison Depot, Eventbrite.com.
Yep.
Perfect. And they'll have them all there, and you just order your
all there.
tickets that way. If we do the hashtag Fall-A-Day, we go on Facebook or something, and it'll take us to the right place? Or
Yep.
Awesome.
And then you can find the link for Eventbrite on Facebook, too.
Perfect. Jacob, Denison Depot's got such a history in the area. Can you touch on that a little bit? I mean, the museum itself is cool.
Well, yes. So the building is actually a National Historic Landmark. We got that distinction in 2011. So really, why we're here is because we're halfway between Columbus and Pittsburgh. So there is 100 miles between Columbus and Denison, and then about 90-ish miles between Denison and Pittsburgh. And that's important because during the time of the steam engines, a steam engine can only run 100 miles on a tank of water. So this is a water stop. So that's kind of like why we're so important, because we're right in the middle of Columbus and Pittsburgh, but we're also right in the middle of St. Louis and New York City. So fast forward to the 1940s during World War II. So the armed services had a huge logistical problem. How were we going to get soldiers across country to get them overseas during World War II? Well, they partnered with the railroads because, people didn't travel then as much. They didn't travel by car. They didn't travel by plane. They traveled by train. So they partnered with the railroads, and they were able to get soldiers from one end of the country to the other. Well, another problem happened. How are we going to feed them all? Because the armed services didn't have the capabilities or the resources at that time to do that. There weren't enough restaurants, and there weren't enough dining cars on the railroad, nor was there enough time to stop in restaurants along the way. So trackside canteens popped up all over the place. Denison had a trackside canteen and served 1.3 million soldiers during World War II.
Say that again.
Yes. So Denison Canteen served 1.3 million soldiers during World War II between the years of 1942 and 1946. They thought it was just as important to feed them when they were coming home, too.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and so, you can imagine, now 1.3 million was 13% of all armed servicemen during World War II. So 13%. And so that number is staggering, but what's really staggering, too, is that these women who were volunteers here at the canteen would do this no matter what, no matter if it was raining, if it was snowing. That's the thing is, it was very hush-hush. They didn't know. So they would get a call when the train was, 50 miles away, and there'd be a train of 600 soldiers coming to feed them, and they did it that fast. I mean, that's
And they could
what
feed
happened.
600.
It was amazing how they did that. Yeah, a typical troop train was about 600 to 700 people.
Oh, my goodness.
So, and they never denied anybody any food. Now, they couldn't, always get what they needed. And remember, this was a time of rationing. We have a really good story about a woman who wanted to make cupcakes for the canteen. And again, that wasn't something you could get. You can't just go and get, the Duncan Hines or Betty Crocker at the store. So, and it's amazing to think that she was able to make icing for cupcakes because she had 6 kids. And so she had extra sugar rations. So it's amazing to think that she was able to make icing because she had sugar rations, because she had more kids. Like, we don't even think about that today.
No.
You go to the store and get Pillsbury if you want icing. So it's just amazing how this community, and it wasn't just Denison, it was Yerkesville, it was Tuscarawas County, it was the 8 surrounding counties that made this effort possible.
And these are families who are trying to feed their families at the same time.
Yep.
You can't just put on your ration request, oh, by the way, for those soldiers coming through, I need like a whole bunch more. It has to be quiet.
Yep.
That is remarkable. Yep. Do we see those kinds of stories when we visit the museum? What do we find in the museum?
Well, inside the museum, we actually have an entire car dedicated to World War II, and it's actually our World War II hospital and surgery car. So they're very rare. Inside, you're going to see, doctors and nurses' quarters, surgical equipment during World War II, but then you're going to see the story of the canteen. And Denison actually was the 3rd largest canteen in the United States. So, and we're the only last remaining example of a canteen of that era. So that's how we became a national.
I find that remarkable because we're not talking about a metropolis here.
No,
in Denison,
no.
Ohio.
Nope. We're a village.
And it's kind of even out of the way.
Yeah.
A little bit out of the way. How? Third largest in the country.
Train. Yep.
That is, it's so fun. What's the response of children when they go through, and families, I guess, when they see all these kinds of historical things and the prominent place that Denison played in our nation's history?
They really like it. They like to see that small town America feel, which is what we try to recreate every day. We have a scavenger hunt for kids that they can find different clues about the museum, and ultimately they find our World War I hero, Bing the dog. We currently have an exhibit up called Dirty Laundry. Now, this one isn't as family-friendly as some of the other ones we've done,
Okay.
but we went very scholarly with this one, and it was all about, because we all have items in our collection that maybe are a little shameful. So we put, and they don't go on display very often. And because we're a World War II museum, we have a lot of Nazi memorabilia. So we have a Nazi flag that's out on display. And we have the German Nazi uniform that's out on display. And we also have a KKK robe. And and the topic of the exhibit is really about, we got to remember our history. But ultimately, they're just objects. So objects have no meaning. They're neutral, right? They're not positive, they're not negative. It's how we feel towards them and our personal feelings and emotions.
Yes, the emotions
they
draw
power.
out, yes, of reminding us that there is evil in this world.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an interesting exhibit. It's definitely thought-provoking. What's considered controversial to one person is not considered to another. So it's really interesting to see, how people's reactions are to that, too. So we have a lot going on.
You certainly do. How long will that be up, and what will be the next one?
It will be up until January 31st of 2020. And then our next one will be opening up in April of 2020, and it is Swing, Music of the 40s.
Oh, how fun is that?
We tend to have a theme of, we go really happy and then really sad. So last year we did an amusement park exhibit, and all about how railroads and amusement parks were tied together. And then we did this Dirty Laundry exhibit, and then now we're going into Music of the 40s. So that'll be a lot of fun.
It's quite I know you run a railroad, but it seems like a roller coaster ride right now as far as your exhibits. Now, I know one of the things, going back to Polar Express, that you do recommend is that families arrive early enough to tour the museum.
Yep.
Is this still okay with some of these objects that you're showing right now?
Well, here's the thing, and we've that's a great question. I think as long as parents use discretion, we have posted everywhere, use your discretion going through here. You may just want to walk right through and not really talk about it. But the thing is, too, is we don't want to hide the history. We don't want to put it away. Because when we start doing that, then we start forgetting about it, and then history repeats itself, and we've seen that happen too many times.
Good point.
So unfortunately, museums have, I want to say, it's almost like a responsibility that we need to talk about.
And
history wasn't all happy, unfortunately.
So that we can learn from it and not
exactly,
repeat
we can learn from it. And so we just, say that if you have young kids that ask questions, be honest with them, because we have to talk about these hard topics. They're eventually going to see it. You cannot hide it from them forever. So,
well, on that note...
So we'll see how it actually ends up during Polar. We may have to cover some of the objects and the cases. We're not sure yet.
Cover some of them up with snow. It is Denison Depot. You want to get on the Polar Express and some of these fun holiday rides. My goodness. Jacob, you are a busy guy. And we want to give the phone number one more time, 740-922-6776, for all information about everything going on. Jacob Masters and the Denison Depot, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Oh, thank you, Susie. We appreciate all you do for us, too.